One of the things we love to talk about on this channel is video gear, and you can't talk about video gear without talking about cameras. And today, I'm showing you a camera I guarantee you didn't know about, but after this video, you're gonna wanna buy. So let's get into it. Video conferencing isn't going anywhere, and companies have done everything they can to make the cameras built into their laptops and built into their screens better, but they're still not great. But with the PowerConf C200, you have a 2K camera that is extremely small, that requires no drivers to simply plug via USB-C into your computer and begin using. It's not just something that you can use with Zoom or Microsoft Teams. You can use this for live streams or all sorts of other applications, and it's so easy to use. First of all, this fits in any bag. I could drop this into any bag, no problem whatsoever. Attaching it to my computer just couldn't be easier. I pull down this little bridge here, and I put it on to my screen like that, and then just kind of close it till it's level with my face, and I'm done. Not only does this fix to my computer, plug in, and just work, it also has some software that you can download that give it some extra features that are gonna help you in your workflow. So let's take a look at that software really quickly and kind of walk you through some of the things you can change to make this camera a little bit different.
And now here's a word from our sponsor.
By the way, this isn't a sponsored video. I bought this with my own money. But hey Anker, hit up your boy. The app you use to change any setting on the PowerConf C200 is called Anker Work, and it's a free download from Anker. And when you open it, it looks like this. You see your camera, you click on it, and here we are looking at the software. Now, obviously, there's a better angle than facing straight into the sunlight of a window, but I wanted this to be really raw, and I wanted you to see what this camera could do. So let's take a look at some of these settings. If I click over here on the left-hand side in the sidebar, you'll see that you can change the resolution. 360 all the way up to 2K. Now, 360, obviously terrible. 2K, here we go, we're obviously looking better. You can also change the angle and frame. So 65 degrees really crops in the shot, 78 and upward obviously makes the shot much wider. And I love to keep the shot as wide as possible. I love to crop in on my own. You've got some, your firmware versions. You can check for an update here. Then in this next section here, we have image, and you can change brightness, and you can change the sharpness. You can change all sorts of things. Now, I love keeping this just right at 50, and then I edit from there. But if you make a bunch of changes and you're going, I just need to get back to normal, click on reset. Everything gets back to normal. We have auto white balance, which you may want to turn on or off. We also have auto focus, which for me, I obviously just keep on, because as I move things close to the camera, I want it to focus on those things. And as I move away from the camera, I want it to focus on my face. Unfortunately for whoever's video conferencing for me. Then we can flip the camera horizontally if we want, depending on what your preference is. Finally, this audio section allows you to change whether or not you want the microphone to be omnidirectional, which is going to pick up the entire room of noise, or directional, which means it's generally going to pick up whatever's in front of the camera. So as you can see here, there's a bunch of different settings. I didn't change a ton of them, but as you move through these settings, you might find some little things that make your experience better with the C200. This is just so cute, but there's a privacy switch just built right into the camera. So instead of fumbling around trying to find the icon you need to click to turn off your camera, you just reach right up, flick a switch, no one can see your image. I love that.
Wow.
Okay, last but not least, we need to talk about the price. This camera, which shoots in 2K, plugs right into your computer and works without any drivers whatsoever, 50 to 60 bucks. So for $50 to $60, I can take this little guy on the road with me. It fits in any bag or even my pocket, and I always have a great video solution for video conferencing and more. But let's get into that and more section for a second. So video conferencing on the PowerConf C200 is going to be great. But like I said, I bought this camera for some other features that you literally find under the hood. If you turn this thing over, what do you see? See those little threads right there? That is so this camera can fit onto any mount, any stand, almost any accessory out there for cameras, which gives me the ability to create a second angle for whatever I'm shooting, or an overhead shot. And all of that fits right into my pocket. Let me show you what I mean really quick. There have been plenty of scenarios where I've been, let's say, in a live stream scenario, and I'm talking to the camera, but I want to show something I'm working on my desk. Maybe I want to pick up a camera and move it around. And you could use your phone to do that using software like Ecamm Live or other streaming softwares out there. Your phone will connect to it. You can use it as a camera. But sometimes I like to have my phone available to respond to comments or even just to have my phone available. Well, that's where something like this comes into play. So again, 50 or 60 bucks, I take the USB-C cable, I plug it in here, I move over to my computer, and now I have a secondary camera angle that is moving around my desk, showing off a product, or I'm saying, hey, look over here at this toolkit that I use frequently, or yeah, I definitely need to water that plant. And is this quality as good as the ZV-E10 from Sony that I have in front of me? No, but it's pretty dang good. It's got a pretty good autofocus. It's got some of those white balance features built in. I could move over to the software and make some adjustments as I see fit, but right now I've got a secondary camera that I can move anywhere. Now, what about a camera that doesn't move everywhere and show me what I'm looking at? What about a secondary standalone shot? Well, that would look like this. Now I have a secondary shot that I can use for anything I want. Maybe I'm shooting a video podcast and I just want some variety, or I'm live streaming. I want some variety where I can look at a different angle. Not this angle because I don't love it, but a different angle that actually looks good. I can do that with a secondary camera. Now, why not just buy another Sony ZV-E10? Well, that would cost me about $800 or $900, but $50 or $60 is way easier to justify. And again, it's a camera that fits in my pocket. It's not taking up extra space in my bag. It's not breaking the bank. I'm not, just emptying my life savings to pay for it. It sounds and looks great, and I have a secondary angle that I didn't have before. Last but not least, the overhead shot. A lot of times I love to show off gear on my channel, and having an overhead shot where people can see me spin it around, play with it, open it, close it, is something that's really important to me. But setting up a camera that's any larger than a GoPro is really frustrating because it's cumbersome and it's hard to support, but a GoPro costs about $400, if not more. But something like this, I'm getting a great 2K shot, $60 price tag. I've got my great overhead shot, and I don't have to worry about anything else. And again, it fits in my bag. I can take it with me anywhere. So having that secondary shot, as well as that overhead shot, is the reason why I bought this camera, aside from the great video conferencing features. Maybe you want to get that secondary angle or that overhead shot, but you've been waiting, you've been saving your money to get another Sony ZV-E10 or a camera like it. Well, stop waiting. Just go out and buy the Anker PowerConf C200. It's only 50 or 60 bucks. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I still love my Sony ZV-E10? Of course. This camera will never be replaced, but I carry this with me all the time because of what it can do along with my Sony ZV-E10, which reminds me, you should probably watch this video before you go.